a step into the abyss of not knowing even what I was stepping into, and then just before you know it, you're standing in something. And it wasn't manure, it was good stuff, right? He's saying, put your foot down, set your foot in the place. You're going to have to cross over and put your foot in the land of promises. You want a promise to come to you. You want momentum to go from negative momentum to positive momentum. Then you are going to have to go and put your foot down on the promise. You're going to have to take some steps, because I'm going to give you wherever you put your foot. Right now, our church is relocating. We're in the middle of a relocation. And when you relocate, there's a lot of different factors that come into it. But what I managed to do was be able to get office space really cheap out in the new area where we're going to go. And so I just said, look, as a leadership team, we're just going to go put a leadership office out there. And so we're just decking, that's happening while I'm away right now. They're just decking out this office, just, spending a bucket load of money on it just to lift everyone's vision and lift everyone's mentality. The office actually is on a second floor and it overlooks the very area where we want to be in. And I'm just doing that for one reason and one reason only, is that to take the leadership out and to put our foot down in the area, because no one's doing anything out there of any significance. So we're going to be right in the heart of the area, and we're going to go put our feet down in the promise, and let's see what God can do. Is this making sense? Number 3, if you want to build momentum, great forward momentum in your life, know who is on your side. In verse 5 it says, no one will be able to stand up against you all the days of your life. As I was with Moses, so I will be with you. I will never leave you nor forsake you. Isn't that interesting? Right back here, when God's talking to his people of promise, he's telling them, just like Jesus told us, I'll never leave you nor forsake you. That's called love. That's what love does, right? Many of us, what we believe is, hey, when we're doing something wrong, God walks out the door. And when we're doing the right things, God's there. No, I've got news for you. God's there. I've used the Strong Concordance and quite a few of other things to get context, and I have many discussions with people who've got doctorates in theology about all sorts of things, and I've learned that the word never there actually means never. It's amazing. Never leave, never forsake. He's always there. That means even when you're messing up, he's not standing there to judge you. He's standing there with a hand out saying, come on, I can help you out of this. You don't have to live this way. You don't have to be stuck in this mess. Is this making sense? Know who's on your side. He's on your side. God is on your side. And the promise wasn't just for a day. The promise was for life. Some of us have this idea that the promises of God are just for certain moments. No, it's for life. He promises to be with us always. Okay, number 4. Everyone say 4. That's my favourite golf term. Okay. I play army golf. Left, right, left, right, left, right. Okay. Number 4. Possess the power of be. Possess the power of be. Do you know that 3 times in these next few verses, in verse 6, in verse 7, and verse 9, he's told to be something. He says in verse 6, God says to him, be strong and courageous, because you will lead these people to inherit the land I swore to their forefathers to give them. And so he's saying, hey, whatever you were, you're going to go to another level. He says, be strong and very courageous in verse 7. So he's saying, not only can you be strong, you can be very courageous. And then verse 9, he's saying, hey, it's not an optional extra. He's going, verse 9 says, have I not commanded you, be strong and courageous. 3 times, be strong and courageous. Why? Because he needed to understand the power of be. Be strong and courageous. Not know about it. Not understand that it's something I should do, but be it. See, before you will experience change, you have to be the change. Before you experience all that you want to see, you have to be what you want to see. Because God starts on the inside first. Making sense? So he couldn't afford to be some other things. Listen, verse 9, he says, do not be. These are things he shouldn't be. Do not be terrified. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Do not be. So there was things he should be and things he should not be. But we've got to understand the power of be. Some of us are being things we shouldn't be. Like right now, you shouldn't be quiet. I love speaking in all different crowds because I speak to all different crowds all over the world. And back home, our church is a pretty exciting kind of church. Sometimes when you're speaking, you don't know whether you're speaking or they're speaking because it's just all happening. And it's a pretty wild kind of place at the moment because we're reaching a lot of people, people from just outside church, and we've really grabbed hold of a generation at the moment. And I tell you, it's just another world when it just rattles and shakes your thinking, and you're experiencing things that you're not used to. And recently I had a guest speaker in our church, and I said to him, hey, look, it's pretty wild at the moment. So Friday nights, just we're reaching there's a whole generation of young people that, and it's I just got to warn you, it's even more. You thought it was wild before, it's even more wild than it used to be. And because these people, they don't know how to express themselves. They express themselves how they express themselves, right? It's not like they've grown up in the nice world that we have. They've grown up in the world that they've grown up in, and then I'm all cool with that. And so. Recently I had this guy, guest speaker. I said it was really wild, and we had a young guy come up. I walked into our church, and I'd been in there for 10 seconds, less than 10 seconds, and a young guy walks up. Now he had an usher badge on. This was one of our ushers, and he's quite famous now, this guy, because we've spoken about him all over the world. And so did the guy who was right behind me. He now speaks about this guy. He says. He walks up to me and he just puts his hand out, because I'd just spoken on the Wednesday night at a vision night, and he goes, that was an effing awesome talk on Wednesday, effing awesome. And I just said, thanks for that, mate, that's awesome. My guest speaker just lost it. He just said, that's wild. And I said, I know. Like, we used to interview people after we baptised them. We used to do an interview. How was that for you? We don't do that anymore. Because that was whoa! You've got to drop the mic. So we don't do that anymore. Because people don't realise what's happening. On screen, when baptisms happen in a building next door, we've got a baptismal there, and so we do it on the big screen in church. So they see them get baptised, and they say g'day to everyone, and it's two-way and all that, and they can talk to each other, and we have a lot of fun with it. But then when they step out of the water, there's a whole bunch of our team who are praying for them to be filled with the Holy Ghost and believe in God for the best in their life, and because it's just a significant moment. So they have this really powerful, potent experience, and then they come in. How was it for you? It was, whoo! You've got to pull the microphone away, because they're just expressing themselves how they would normally express themselves. No one's taught them the right or wrong way to express them. They're just expressing what they're feeling. And I tell you what, the generations that are coming up, they don't have any problem with that word. I know that we might, but they don't. And so I find that kind of exciting. So it's messy. You haven't got a real church unless you have non-smoking and a smoking section. Honestly, we have a non-smoking and a smoking section in our church. You have to. All right, number 5. Everyone say 5. 5th thing is you've got to focus your energy on obedience. If you want to see forward momentum in your life, you've got to focus your energy on obedience. Right, in verse 7 he says, be careful to obey all. Everyone say all. Everyone say all the law my servant Moses gave you. Do not turn from it to the right or to the left, that you may be successful wherever you go. A Bible result requires Bible obedience. You want the Bible results, you've got to go with the Bible obedience. Does it make sense? Okay, he says, verse 8, do not let the book of the law depart from your mouth. Meditate on it day and night so that you may be careful to do everything written in it. Then, everyone say then you will be prosperous and successful. In other words, he's saying, hey, don't let it depart from your mouth. Talk it up. Right? Start talking it up. You should start talking about the people you want to reach. Start talking about the things you want to see. Start talking about the things you're believing for. Don't tell me what you can't do. Show me what you can do. You know, there's a lot of people out there tell you what you can't do. You ask them to, oh, well, I can't do. And that's the first response is what you can't do. No, don't tell me what you can't do. Show me what you can do. Have a go. I say to our church as a leader, you know, I'd rather, as a leader, say, look, I tried 20 things and 3 of them worked, right? Which, you know, as you get older, actually, it's more like the ratio goes right up, like 17 will work and 3 won't. But you know, because you're wiser and you've had the experience of lots of things not working. But it's okay. I'd rather be in an environment where change is part of life, an environment where we're a learning organisation, where we grab a hold and we try things and we try different stuff and we do different things. I'd rather be that than the opposite, which is doing nothing and going nowhere. Because I can promise you one thing. If you believe for nothing, you'll get it every time. You really will. But if you're going to believe for something, there's risk involved. And no risk, no reward. So you've got to take the risk. Is this making sense? He says, don't let it depart from your mouth. In other words, talk it up. He says, meditate on it. Day and night. He's saying, mentally focus on it. Mentally give focus to what you want, what you're believing for. Mentally give focus to what you're wanting to accomplish. Don't just allow anything to go on in there. Some people, I really wonder what's going on in there. But don't let anything go on in there. Some thoughts aren't okay to have. Hello? Some thoughts, they're not okay. It's not okay to think some of the things we think. Okay. And then he says, do everything written in it. In other words, let the spirit of Nike come upon you. Just do it. Stop talking about it and do it. Does this make sense? All right, number 6, lucky last. 6 thing, you want to build momentum, you want to get forward momentum in your life, you want to start getting rid of that negative momentum, then create an atmosphere of faith. You know that the 5 previous principles were all personal issues that God was talking to Joshua about. All of them, they were all personal things. They were all things God was saying personally to Joshua before he even got out there and went to the people with it. But by the time you get to verse 10, it says, so Joshua ordered the officers of the people, go through the camp and tell the people, get your supplies ready. 3 days from now, you will cross the Jordan here to go in and take possession of the land the Lord God is giving us for our own. So he's saying, hey, when you get the things right on the inside, then you're ready to start sharing it on the outside. But you've got to get it right in you first. The internal stuff is just as important as the external stuff. In fact, I believe the internal stuff's more important than the external stuff. Your private world is far more important than your public world. Who you are in private and who you are in public should be same. Not almost real. Just same. This is making sense? See, when Joshua dealt with his personal issue, he's ready to impart something to people. Because what's in you comes out of you. No matter what it is, no matter what it is going on in this, what's in you will come out of you. And people could say, oh no, I don't have that going on. It will come out of you. Your biology will give you away because your blood will boil. You know, people will see it written on your face. People will know. People see, because what's in you comes out of you. And you've got to understand, at this point, Joshua had no idea of how any of this was going to happen. He had no data right? He hadn't done any research. Nothing had happened, right? I always make the children cry. In fact, I make adults cry quite regularly. He had no idea at this point. He hadn't